Did you know that 50% of entrepreneurs are more likely to have a mental health condition? And it's not because of anything that they're doing. It's literally because of how entrepreneurs' brains are wired.
Hello, my name is John.
And I'm Nikki, and we are the bosses next door.
So today we are talking about just how entrepreneurs are wired different. Or if you don't think you're wired different, the high's the high, the low's the low. Like, why is that, right? And I think that, and why the lows seem so low versus the highs that seem so high. And then maybe when you get to the goal, it's not what you thought it was going to be. It's like, oh, and then you go after and chase the next goal. And then I think that's why entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs. But we're going to get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, it's talking about, like, when we were doing the research for this podcast, it was talking about the dopamine rush. Entrepreneurs like to achieve and start new things and do things that give you excitement. And then on the flip, the things that are bad are like really bad, crash and burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just, it's the highs, the lows, right? So the entrepreneur's brain is actually different, right?
I know your brain is different.
Oh, man. So research has found that significantly, like, dopamine is like sensitive. The sensitivity is way higher in entrepreneurs than other people that don't have businesses, right? So that's part of why, like, you're chasing it, right?
It's the risk and reward, right?
Yeah.
And I know we take a lot of risks in all of our businesses, and the reward can be great, but like sometimes it's just we're risking a lot and it may not pan out.
Right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think, like, building something it's addictive, right? You're addicted to that, like, trying to get it to go, trying to get it up and running.
Shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Which really resonates with a lot of business owners, because I think we've talked before in other podcasts about like Colby tests and personality tests and things like that, and you are a quick start. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are quick starts because they like just jumping in, figuring it out, tinkering and going. You know? On the flip to that is, I think a lot of fact finders, they really want to know the information, strategically set it up and move at a little bit slower pace, but still get in there and have that challenge.
Right. Well, you're chasing, right? It's like chasing a drug, essentially. Is you're just chasing that next, like, trying to get it going. Like, but can you prove people wrong, or, like, you accomplish something, that goal is out there, and that goal gets harder and harder as you go, right? As you grow, things get harder. Yeah, I think it's very, very, it's very interesting. I didn't realize that so many people had one form or another of some form of mental stress or strain.
Yeah, it says anxiety, depression, ADHD. And with TikTok and all of those things that people are into right now, I know my feed's telling me all the things. It's basically telling me I have everything. And I'm like, I do not. But it's interesting to like see the data, to see what people say and go, oh, that part of ADHD might resonate with me, but like maybe anxiety doesn't. You know what I mean? So there's different things that are being put to the forefront for us to be able to see now and tap into to say, does that resonate or does it not? That's
interesting, yeah. Yeah, it says dopamine is the key reason entrepreneurs are original thinkers and natural problem solvers, but it also makes them easily bored, easily restless, and easily constantly looking for the next thing.
I want to add to that, easily annoyed.
Oh.
Because I think because we do move so fast paced, I don't know that we get bored quickly, maybe some, but I definitely get annoyed when people aren't firing as quick as we are.
Right.
Do you also?
I think that's a patience thing. Maybe.
So I don't have patience.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I do say that. I don't have patience for this today, so it could be.
Yeah, it says the flip side, the high dopamine sensitivity also means that things go wrong. It hits harder. The same writing that makes you feel set back more intensely than most people do. So, like, yeah, you can let it roll off your back. But, man, when things go wrong, you're like, God dang it, man. The highs are highs, the lows are lows.
Yeah, and I think for you really feel that because you always say, like, I want to be there to make sure my family is taken care of. I want to make sure my wife is good. I want to make sure my kids are good. And if something goes off and it's not the way that you want it to, I think you always go back to that place of, oh no, am I letting my family down?
Right.
But that's such a high and such a low, because I don't feel like it's ever that extreme. I'm like, we're good, we'll bounce back. And I know you know that, but that always sits with you for a minute.
Yeah, yeah. And things have to be pretty rough to be like, you know, oh great, am I gonna like tumble the whole family? But it is. It's always in the back of your mind, right?
Right.
It says 49% of the entrepreneurs deal with at least one mental health condition: anxiety, depression, ADHD. Not all because they are broken, because they are wired to operate at a different intensity than most. Yeah, I can see that.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I never said for the longest time, like when all these labels were coming out about different mental illnesses or struggles, right? I was like, I don't have anxiety. Anxiety is just stress. And I think it's just because of the time that we grew up, it wasn't called anxiety. But now I hear my mom talking about, oh, my anxiety. And I'm like, what? To me, it was just stress. Like we were always going through some form of stress at some time, but it can't win.
Right.
And I think maybe, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but maybe that's where anxiety differs. You know, there's different levels of anxiety, but for me, it's always like stress and how am I going to tackle it and move on and not let it consume me, which it does.
Right.
It's got to run its course through me and then, you know.
I got you.
Better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why winning doesn't feel like enough, right? There's one that every entrepreneur needs to hear. Neuroscience research confirms that dopamine spikes most during the pursuit and not the moment that you actually win. The brain is not designed to celebrate arrival; it's designed to keep moving. Right? So, like we've had goals, right? Hey, man, when we get to this benchmark in the business, like it's going to be amazing, and then you hit it, and you're like, damn. All right, what's the next one, right?
Yeah.
It's not as exciting, and there's not the confetti that flies to the wall or off the ceiling. And partially is you think like, okay, is it because, like, it makes a lot of sense to me because, okay, well, we didn't get to where we thought we were going to get, right? Or it didn't, something magically didn't happen for us, right? Because we made that goal, and we put so much emphasis on reaching that goal. Mm-hmm. It's fair.
Yeah, and we don't ever set celebrations for what's going to happen when we reach the goal. Like in the beginning, we'd say we'd have a goal and we wanted to get there, and then we'd get there and be like, ooh, yay, that was awesome. We talked about that in another episode. But maybe we needed to set when we hit this goal, we will do X, Y, Z. Then it's a bigger engagement with the team, and it feels more like we accomplished something versus like we know we checked that box, we accomplished it, and we kept pushing to the next thing.
Right.
Maybe we need to be intentional about setting events or something spectacular when the goals are met.
Yeah, but it's very possible, right?
It doesn't always have to be a party, but I'm saying like we're talking about ring the bell. We need to get a bell in here.
Yeah.
There might be moments, right?
Yeah. Well, it just says, this is why when you hit a goal and you feel that flat almost immediately, why the win felt bigger in your head than it did in real life. When we crossed the 7-figure mark with Little John's for that first time, we talked about it like we went and got a lunch special at Barlow's Pizza.
Yeah.
Right? But we thought like, man, we hit this number, we have made it. And we were like, nope, just keep going.
Because the struggles were all still there,
yeah.
right? And then they just intensified to another level. So just example, payroll struggle at $10,000 is a lot different when it's $40,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so once we hit those different things, it was like awesome, but it wasn't really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like people were like, oh man, payroll at their company was blah, 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 whatever it was. And you're like, oh my gosh, I could never. And now we've hit that number farther or past it. And you're like, dang, man,
Such a hit. Like every week, And,
but it's become the norm.
Yeah, it has. It's not stressful anymore. It's just part of the game.
And I think that's why, you go hit a big goal. Within a day or two, you're already on to the next thing. What's the next thing we're going to try to solve? What's the next thing we're going to try to make happen? What's the next thing, right?
Yeah. And all the little curveballs that get thrown in daily that derail you from your next thing. I can't even get to some of the things I want to do because what's happening in the day-to-day that might require my assistance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and this just says that Stanford says that the brain places a higher value on things that we worked hard to get, but the reward feeling fades fast and the chase begins again. That is something that's built in us over thousands of years, apparently. But I think that's very true because I don't know, there is an interesting side to it, right? You never feel quite satisfied no matter like where you're at. And there's some reminders that like for myself anyways, I have to remind myself, okay, we've done this. Right? And we met a guy that sold his company for a huge multiple. And I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. Yeah, he goes, yeah, it's cool. And he's already back in it. And I'm like, dang, man. But that is, I thought for sure.
That he would exit after that or do something else?
He said, I just I can't stop, right? I don't feel like I want to waste my time. And that makes sense. But he is trying to get right back in the thick of it, like immediately. And it's a huge payout. And that surprised me a little bit.
It's interesting. But I mean, if we're talking about how his brain is wired, he's probably ready for that next thing. What's the next thing I can do? Yeah. I've still got time here on this earth, right?
Yeah.
What's next in store?
Yeah, it's super interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's not like, it's not ingratitude. It's not character flaw. I think it's literally how your entrepreneurial brain is built, right? So it's just how we were made, right? And it is interesting that people that are entrepreneurs or have their own business all tend to have the same characteristic.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah. I would say we were very competitive growing up, even though we grew up in different places. And like our kids are very competitive, and the teams that we build, like there's competition in our teams here, and it's a big piece of who we are. But again, that's like a wiring, right? Yeah. We're wired to be competitive and to win and to fight till we get to the end. And a lot of the people on our teams are also built the same way. Yeah. And I think probably a lot of entrepreneurs are also like highly competitive and want to win.
Yeah, absolutely right. Mm-hmm. There is now the problem. The problem is, understand this though. You keep chasing the harder and harder wins, and the same thing happens. But it's when your body's ultimately going to pay the price, right? Mm-hmm. So is there a specific moment when you felt shorter than you should have? Like on the moment, we hit that goal and you're like, okay, great, but
like, is there a specific time when I felt like we fell short?
No, you hit that, but the feeling fell short, like of what you actually.
I mean, I think for myself, there's always something else down the line. So it's always like, cool, we hit that, but I still have X, Y, Z to do. Yeah. So I'm never like I could take a moment to chill, right? Mm-hmm. I like to do that, but there's not a lot of time when there's so many things that require our attention.
Yeah. But is there a specific goal that we hit in one of our companies that you're like, dang, and then that's not what I thought was going to happen, or it's not how I thought I'd feel?
I mean, yeah. Specifically, I don't know, maybe when we moved into our building for Little John's, because we finally got out of the construction trailer. Yeah. That was awesome, and we've been here 2 years now, and the team was excited, and that was all great, but it still didn't change. It did for a little bit, change the performance of people because I feel better, I'm in a better spot, we look better, like all of those things. But it didn't take long for people to fall back into habits. Yeah. So maybe that's an example of it was great, it was exciting, but then it kind of fell off.
Yeah, I think it did fall off kind of fast, actually, for some of those team members that were over here. I think that was pretty interesting. Like everybody's, oh yeah, we can do all this stuff, and then the reality is that they went right back in their habits of before. But the problem is it caught them where it didn't get caught before. Yeah, I agree. This is what laid out way nicer, and it showed the flaws. Fair? Yeah. So so I think the part that people don't really talk about is what is being an entrepreneur and all these things, but what's the real problem is like what it does to your body, right? Mm-hmm. Like it can wreak havoc on your system from being stressed and your body getting that dump of dopamine or wherever. What does it do to your body, right? That's the part I think that people don't really talk about, is that your body is Your body is wired a certain way and it needs certain things. And I think sometimes you go in the grind of it and you don't pay attention, like what you're eating, right? Are you working out, right? Movement is key, right? Are you gaining weight? You're getting yourself into really bad habits, right? Because you're just in this mode of just go, 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 go time. And I think that I fell into that early on because it was like grab and go, just grab and go and eat, right? And it just carried over to becoming a normal part of life.
Yeah.
And then you get sick and you don't feel good, your inflammation, you have Hashimoto's and things that we learned along the way, right? Like you're gluten-free, dairy-free, and it's a choice to kind of counteract that, right? I find out that I'm allergic to everything, right? I have a bunch of inflammation. I do everything else. I'm more on the extreme side, right? I can really track all my food and like work out very consistently, but it's amazing the difference I feel now versus then. You don't realize it when you're in it.
Right.
Right. But also how much different our business has changed because of our healthy lifestyle.
I think the healthy lifestyle allows us to see more clear on the day-to-day things we're doing, or when we're interacting with our team, or goals that we set. I don't know, still have brain fog, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we're more clear in what the outcome is going to be for whatever it is we're working on.
I think you become more disciplined in general, right? You're running the business and you're really working on the business, trying to do the right things. And I think for me, it was like the clarity of being very disciplined of what I'm doing health-wise really translated over to the business. And I thought that was pretty, especially like 2 years ago, like when we moved out of this building, like we've had these massive changes happening through here.
Yeah.
And I think that I contributed a lot of that to taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's disadvantages. You talk about brain fog. Yes, brain fog's a real deal, but like I figured out, man, creatine helped me out a lot. Really helped me on clearing up that, eating the right things, time that I eat during the day. A lot of these things has really helped me prepare myself, I guess.
Yeah.
For the long haul. We work long hours.
Yeah.
So, I think that has helped us really work through it, right? Fair?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm a firm believer in NeuroGum. I don't care what anybody says, but midday crash and then NeuroGum and I'm straight.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And I think also, too, is like this saying, your immune system's suppressed, right? So you got to really, really be mindful of it.
Yeah.
I was never a big proponent of like, oh, you got to take care of yourself. And I think as I got older and really had to take care of myself, like it really oh, this is a big deal, There's
so much to be done every day, right? We start early, we end late.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Hashimoto's, it is what it is. My thyroid issue, it causes me to be tired. And I know people can't see it, but I'll be drained.
Yeah.
But I don't let people see that here.
Yeah.
When I'm walking around the building, making sure, hey, you're good. Need anything from me? They would never know that I'm extremely fatigued and ready to crash. But
yeah.
I just feel like even though that's there, we still have stuff to do. And if not us, then who?
Yeah.
So there is no quit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's building a team around us to be able to take some of those things off the plate, right? Because ultimately the goal is to build the businesses to be able to not have to be there all the time.
Right. At some point, we'll get there.
That's soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it says cortisol is very useful in the short term, but long term it can cause suppressed immune system, weight gain, especially around the midsection, creates brain fog, right? So you have to be able to manage it, right? Because cortisol, it sharpens focus, gives you energy, keeps you alert, but too much of it, just has an opposite effect to it. So we got to keep that in mind.
I think entrepreneurs just need to make time to go get checked and get your blood work done and check your levels and see where you're at. Because we push off stuff till the end. Moms do it anyways, but business owners, we do it as well. We're busy, we don't have time. At some point, you got to stop it and just be okay, where am I at?
Yeah, you got to make the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I didn't think there was anything wrong. I was like, I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
And then she was like, actually, this all looks bad. What do you mean? So.
Yeah, because you went in to get checked because after I got checked, right?
Yeah, I was like, nothing wrong with me. It was all him. I'm just going to go and, sure, let's do my blood work. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
It's amazing stuff you find out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. And then the next one is anxiety that lives underneath everything, right? There is a level of anxiety that lives underneath entrepreneurs, I think, right? For me, anyways, it's just like you talk about the failure, right? Like even though we're just pushing, we're building and building and building, it's like, and the businesses are rolling, especially Little John's right now. We're on this crazy run, and it's great, but it's very interesting, like the underneath of like, oh shoot, what if this happens or that happens, or and the stuff that just kind of that underlying scariness of it all, I guess, maybe. Fair?
Yeah, I would say for me, like, I guess anxiety or something that I'm always thinking about is all the people that we're responsible for.
Yeah.
Making sure they're all taken care of, making sure they have what they need to be successful.
Yeah.
And then not knowing, because we have a good team at all these places, they're shielding a lot of that from us. So we don't even know some of the day-to-day with some of our field teams, some of our CSRs. Like, we don't know what's really going on in their lives as much as we did when we started.
Absolutely right.
Right? But that is a stress. Did I come off the right way with that person? Did they take it wrong? Did they hear me clearly? Did I clearly explain? Like, I don't want to overthink it, but there's a lot that goes into dealing with different teams, and that by itself can cause anxiety or stress.
Yeah, it says 80 as a study done for in 2025 for Fortune study, 87% of founders experience anxiety, depression, or burnout, or all three, right?
All three at one time or another.
Yeah.
I mean,
all three at one time would be a lot, but I can see the burnout, right? You don't give yourself a break. I am bad at that, right? You just keep going. Mm-hmm. I think the depression part is like you just feel like, oh my God, the failure, right? If something didn't go right, because business is not easy and not everything is going to go the way it's planned, right?
Yeah.
And then anxiety, right? It's just that underlying, there's still things that are due. There's still bills that need to get paid. There's still jobs that need to get completed. Yeah.
There's still crazy whack jobs trying to say that our Bobcat is too loud, even though we're doing all the things right. Like, you never know what you're going to get. Long story short, there's a neighbor to the building that says we're too loud, and the city ordinance is 6 a.m., and we're not using that machine until after 6 a.m., yet they want to complain almost daily.
Yeah, he videos us all the time and all this, but it's just like one more thing. You're like,
it's another thing, and that's my point. It's one more thing to really, there's so much we're trying to do. Don't hinder anybody that's working here. Like, what's it going to accomplish, you know? And it's not an everyday thing. Like, it's as needed. So we push the time back. We do it later, and it's still not enough. Some people just don't have anything to do but be a nuisance.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
But you have to deal with that. Stress, anxiety, like all the things. That's just part of it, you know? Mm-hmm. You never know what you're going to get.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's a very lovely person. But it just adds to it, right? So then you get the city stops by multiple times, and then you get the police to stop by, and everybody's okay with it. And now they found a loophole of like, now the Bobcat is considered maybe too big, and it's like, so now you're researching the city ordinances.
Right. Who's got time to research ordinances and the weight of the Bobcat so that we know if we're heavy or light duty?
Yeah.
Like, it just is one of those things that derails, and who on the team's going to do it? I don't know. Somebody could, but at the end of the day, our name's on it, so it comes back to us.
Oh, absolutely. And so you just like, all right, man.
It's just a one-off, but it causes for, now we can't stop, right? We got to keep going. We got to fix it. We got to handle things and still deal with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really interesting.
Par for the course.
Or that, or you lose employees. You try to help people out, and like things go sideways, and you're just like, and it's kind of interesting. You watch guys that work for us that haven't. Nikki and I help a lot of people very quietly at different times throughout this company. We've helped a lot of people, but you learn very early on that you just get burned quite a bit, right? And you got to like not be so callous to like not want to do it again, because you're like, man, not everybody's like that. Like it's just the one, it's hard.
Yeah.
But we've had two people here experience about this one guy we helped, and man, they're like really bummed out about it. And the other one's like, well, shoot, man, let's just pull it out of his last check, And I'm like, no, it was a gift, right? Like, it's okay,
We kind of budget or have funds set aside for not just the rainy day, but for when the employee needs something, right? And we try to be very gracious and offer things to people that other companies wouldn't necessarily do. We've tried to help a lot of people in the last 14 years.
Yeah.
Most times we do get burned. I do get callous and be like, are you sure you want to do this again? Because we're not getting those funds back. And it's okay, because if we're helping someone, we're helping someone. But at the end of the day, like, that person won't get 2 and 3 and 4 times help. You got it once. You showed us what you're going to do with it. Now we decide if we help you or keep you.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
But it's yeah. So that part is like just interesting, right? Because you don't, people pull on your heartstrings. They're always like, oh, my kids, this, but you can only go to the hospital so many times. You only have so many grandmas. You only have, what I'm saying? So it's like, that part is like interesting. I remember we gave it was like a couple $100 food card to a guy because he needed, he was a single dad, all this stuff. Super thankful. It's just boom, gone. It was like, man, it had been with us for a minute, but it was like interesting, right? You give something like this to the other guy. We gave him we paid for a weekly place to stay for a week. Like, hey, man, let's get you, boom, gone. No call, no. Has been a great employee for 6-8 months before that.
Yeah, it's been great.
Just like,
what happened?
Yeah.
But we all make our own choices.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
So, yeah. And we have to be careful we don't judge, right? It's like, hey, if they need help, is it the fund? We create this thing for the funds, and is it available to them? Like, we have a funding that they can loan money. That loaning the money is great, but it only has so much in there. So if it gets all used up, then, so yeah. Anyways, off the topic, but yeah, that's that part that always drags on you, right? Because you're right. Like there's a lot of employees, right? And trying to make sure that they're taken care of and like all these things. Plus, on top of that, is the business profitable? Is it not profitable? Are we getting enough leads in? Are we converting our leads to customers? It's like all these things. And it's like, man. And what is interesting is like you said, you have to kind of take it on the chin a little bit. Like, hey, you're super tired. Like, how are you? This, that, and the other. But it's like they have one part of this company that they're responsible for, right? And you listen to like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so burned out. I'm so whatever. And you're like, bro,
you wear this hat and maybe these 2 extra hats, right?
and we're like running around trying to, like, long days, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you're trying to make it all happen. Now that's probably our fault because we need to look at the structure of what the business or businesses that are there. But it's like, it is very interesting, right?
You have to have the funds to be able to do that. Like the Targets of the world have the funds to say, you're the director of this, you're the supervisor of this, you're the manager of this, and these are your teams. When you're a small business entrepreneur, you want to have all those things, but you have to have the funds to be able to do it. So that's why I say you're in a hat. This is the hat you wear, but you have these other 2 as well.
Right, absolutely.
Until we can get there, so...
Yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, that's part that I think is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, and I think we covered quite a bit on this topic today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
so the closeout. Nobody hands you a manual on building a business. Actually, does to your brain and your body. So, like, nobody tells you the reality of it, right? What it's the stressors that it puts on you, the fatigue it's going to put on you mentally and physically.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Just know that going in. Owning a business is not easy. It's not for everybody. The people who are successful get up every day and don't give up, right? And you need to know when to move, right? When it's the business is telling you it's not plausible or capable of doing something, can you pivot, turn, do the next thing? Can you move on to what is selling? What, like working yourself through the system is what you need to be doing. And I think all too often people don't do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
they pigeonhole themselves like, nope, this is what it's going to be. I'm like, okay, you know?
Yeah, think outside the box. But also, you're valid in your feelings, you're valid in your emotions, because it is high stress. It is fast paced. There is a lot of moving parts. So just know that if you're feeling anxiety, ADHD, overwhelm, whatever it might be, it's all real. It's all really happening, and
Well, the
we
science
just got
is
to
real.
roll with it.
Yeah, science
right?
is real. The experiences are real.
Right.
Right? Understand where you're at. If you can recognize what burnout really is, right? And it's interesting. I think probably I would assume a lot of people don't talk about burnout, even though burnout's a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, in our space, we're burnt out, but we still got to keep going. So it's like you may feel that way, but it doesn't stop us. I think in spaces where you're doing a different type of work, where maybe you have like 3 bosses, and take it back to my grocery days. When I was a cashier, the burnout was not the same. The burnout was, I don't want to go to work, but I have to go to work. But I didn't have any of those major stresses to keep that store open. You know what I mean? So it's all relative.
Yeah. There's a guy that does work on our trucks. His name's Todd. And he said something that was just like, what? I've heard it a bunch of different ways, but he's like, he just had a meeting with all of his employees and said, hey, everything here has a value. This pen has a value. Mm-hmm. Everything in here costs something.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. That something is paid by the customers that come through the door. Mm-hmm. And that customer's experience here on how their product is done, this, that, and the other, like, dictates if we could buy more pens and all these other things.
Right.
And he's like, I simplified it because people were like, that's not that big of a deal. And he's like, no.
It
like,
all matters.
Yeah. It might be little, but those little things, and it can in business, like little things can add up to big things if you don't watch it.
Exactly.
You know? So, yeah, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully you learned something.
Yep. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.